Hello friends. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be born on February 11th? What secret messages are coded into your birth date, whispers from the stars, numbers, trees, and even ancient stones? Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating birthdays in the Zodiac. If you, or someone you know, came into this world on February 11th, prepare for a journey through astrology, numerology, the Druid and Vedic traditions, and more. Let's unlock the cosmic blueprint of the February 11th personality. The zodiac sign, Aquarius. Born under the sign of Aquarius, those who enter the world on February 11th are anything but ordinary. Aquarius is represented by the water bearer, but don't be fooled by the symbol, it's not a water sign. Aquarius is a fixed air sign, ruled by Uranus, the planet of rebellion, disruption, progress, and unpredictable genius. This means you're not here to fit in, you're here to shake things up. You're a sky mapper, a system breaker, a paradigm shifter. If the world is a giant computer, you're the human glitch in the matrix, asking, why do we even run this program? Aquarians, in general, are the visionaries of the zodiac, the kind of people who think 30 years ahead and are often misunderstood by those stuck in the present. But February 11th Aquarians? They're a special subbreed. You possess not just vision, but conviction. Your thoughts are often layered, abstract, and futuristic, yet you're deeply grounded in values like justice, freedom, and authenticity. You don't chase power, you chase meaning. You're not drawn to what's trending now, you're drawn to what could redefine everything tomorrow. Internally, you're a paradox. Emotionally cool on the surface, you're hiding a storm of deeply held beliefs, private heartaches, and undying ideals. People may think you're aloof, but you're not detached, you're simply selective with where you place your energy. Your intellect is razor sharp, yet you often speak in metaphors and ideas instead of hard facts. Your charisma is quiet but undeniable, and even when you're silent, your presence says, I'm thinking of something you wouldn't understand yet. You're the kind of person who wears mismatched socks intentionally, not to stand out, but because you're too busy building empires in your mind to care about social norms. Whether you're an artist, a coder, an activist, or a scientist, your creativity doesn't follow blueprints, it invents entirely new languages. You challenge people, not out of arrogance, but because you're allergic to mediocrity. If someone dares to journey into your world, they better bring an open mind, a thick skin, and a backpack full of questions. Because you weren't made to follow paths, you were made to forge them. Love and romance. If you're born on February 11th, love is rarely simple, and honestly, that's how you like it. You're not interested in cookie-cutter romance or playing out a script written by Hollywood. Your heart operates on its own software, completely unbothered by traditional rules. You crave depth, not drama. Emotion, not obligation. Freedom, not possession. When you love, you do it with your mind, soul, and imagination, often all at once. But if someone tries to cage you or define you too tightly, you'll evaporate like vapor. In relationships, you're electric. Literally, you send messages in the form of poetic late-night texts, cosmic memes, and deep questions like, do you think souls recognize each other across timelines? You're the partner who keeps love alive not through routines, but through random brilliance, a surprise playlist, a philosophical road trip, a full moon picnic at 1 a.m. You're not in it for surface affection, you're in it to merge minds, challenge each other, and explore love as a never-ending experiment. But commitment? That's a layered subject for you. It's not that you fear it. You just redefine it. You need a relationship built on mutual growth, intellectual stimulation, and space to evolve. Monogamy isn't a problem, but monotony is. Your ideal partner understands that love isn't about ownership. It's about orbiting one another in a shared gravitational pull, each free to spin, but always drawn back to that magnetic center. Compatibility-wise, you vibe best with signs who bring air to your fire or fire to your air. Geminis and Libras can dance with your intellect, finish your thoughts, and laugh at your layered jokes. Sagittarius and Aries energize you, challenge you, and match your need for freedom with their own adventurous spirit. But when it comes to earth signs like Taurus or Capricorn, there may be static, too grounded, too controlling, too slow to adapt. And with Cancer or Pisces, the emotional waves might flood your circuitry. Not impossible, but hard mode. Here's your ultimate relationship truth. You don't need someone to hold your hand 24/7. You need someone who's willing to run beside you, sometimes ahead, sometimes behind, but always with their own fire. Someone who lets you roam and still holds your heart. Someone who doesn't just love you for your quirks, but celebrates them. Because for you, love isn't about fitting into a box. It's about expanding the universe together. Sex and intimacy. Let's be clear, February 11th individuals are not emotionally cold, they're just emotionally complex. You don't approach intimacy the way most people do. While some chase instant gratification or cling to traditional seduction rituals, you're scanning frequencies most others aren't even aware of. Physical attraction alone is never enough for you. You want to connect on a cerebral and spiritual level before your body truly follows. You want to be mentally undressed before you're physically touched. You crave a partner who can speak your language of desire, one that's poetic, intellectual, and just a little dangerous. To you, sex is alchemy, a sacred act that merges mind, body, spirit, and instinct. You don't just have sex, you create entire worlds in the process. You might whisper philosophy in one moment and indulge in erotic fantasy the next. It's not about rules or routines, it's about exploration, surprise, and surrender. You are endlessly curious, open to experimenting, and uninterested in what's considered normal. If it feels true, if it ignites something real, then it's worth exploring. You're not afraid of shadows, in fact, you often find them beautiful. Taboo doesn't scare you, predictability does. What turns you on isn't just someone's body, it's their mind's fire. Intelligence is your aphrodisiac. You're aroused by sharp wit, strange ideas, and people who have scars they're not ashamed of. Humor disarms you. Vulnerability draws you in. Originality thrills you. When a partner dares to show their raw thoughts, unguarded, unfiltered, you respond with magnetic energy. You love partners who challenge your beliefs, spark wild conversations, and let intimacy evolve organically, without pressure or formula. In long-term intimacy, you're a giver, thoughtful, inventive, and always seeking new ways to connect. But you also need space to be your own person. You're not someone who thrives under constant physical neediness. You want a partner who enjoys closeness without clinging, who can hold you without holding you back. When the chemistry is right, your bedroom becomes a sanctuary, a place where walls dissolve, where shame has no seat, and where pleasure becomes a kind of language only the two of you speak. It's not just about what happens between the sheets, it's about what you feel when you're between dimensions. Marriage. To understand a February 11th person's view on marriage, you first have to understand this. Convention does not define them. You're not drawn to marriage as a goal, a milestone, or a next logical step. You're drawn to it when it feels like an authentic partnership, something co-created between two whole individuals, not a contract or obligation. In fact, you might spend years avoiding the idea altogether, not because you're afraid of love, but because you refuse to fake it. You'd rather be alone than with someone who doesn't see you for who you truly are. And who are you in marriage? A game changer, a builder, a hurricane wrapped in silk. You're the kind of spouse who challenges assumptions, breaks routines, and keeps passion alive through constant intellectual and emotional evolution. You believe marriage should be a space where two people grow together without losing themselves. You're allergic to boredom. If you feel boxed in or emotionally caged, you'll begin to withdraw. That's why your ideal marriage is full of movement, ideas, mutual independence, and creative reinvention. You're not one for performative gestures or fairy tale fantasies. What matters to you is consistency over ceremony. You express love not just through words, but through presence, perspective, and support during chaos. You're surprisingly loyal once committed, and while you may not always be the most emotionally expressive on the surface, your actions speak volumes. You're the kind of partner who might not say, "I love you," every day, but who will remember your favorite childhood book, fight for your dreams like they're their own, and stay up all night helping you rebuild yourself when you fall apart. The storms of marriage, misunderstandings, external pressures, emotional distance, don't scare you. In fact, you often navigate them better than most. With your naturally cool temperament and wide-angle perspective, you're able to de-escalate conflict and approach problems as puzzles to be solved, not threats to your identity. However, if your partner stops growing, loses curiosity, or tries to confine you, you'll begin to outgrow the bond. Your best matches in marriage are those who are emotionally stable but not emotionally needy, curious but not controlling, adventurous but grounded. Think partners who love your mystery, encourage your freedom, and see your independence not as a threat, but as a shared superpower. You thrive with people who embrace the idea that love is not a fixed destination, but a constantly evolving journey, and who are just as excited about writing the next chapter with you as they are about reading the last. Friendship. Being friends with someone born on February 11th is like having a subscription to chaos, genius, and cosmic insight all at once. You're not the, let's meet every Friday for drinks, type of friend. You're the, I just sent you a 6-page voice memo about a dream I had that explains your life crisis, type. You vanish, reappear, vanish again, but your presence, even when rare, feels electric and unforgettable. When you show up, you're all in. You arrive not with surface-level sympathy, but with surgical-level clarity, a full toolkit of wild solutions, and probably a crystal or two for spiritual reinforcement. You're often the mystic meets mad scientist of your friend group. The one who challenges norms and dares people to think differently. While others are texting about brunch plans, you're reading about alternate dimensions or breaking down the emotional architecture of a bad Tinder date. You might ghost a group chat for 3 weeks, but when your friend's heart breaks at 2 a.m., you're there with a playlist, a theory, and an exit strategy. You won't say, everything happens for a reason. You'll reprogram the reason and walk them through the rewrite. In your circle, you're the idea catalyst. Friends often see you as a mix of coach, critic, and co-conspirator. You won't nod along to make someone feel better, you'll ask hard questions and challenge lazy thinking. That's your gift. You help people break patterns they don't even know they're stuck in. Some might be overwhelmed by your intensity or your occasional need to unplug, but your true friends treasure your authenticity, your unpredictable mind, and your refusal to show up as anything other than your real self. You attract other brilliant misfits. The rebels, the quiet nerds, the artists who talk to their plants, the scientists who collect comic books. Your tribe isn't bound by surface similarities, it's a constellation of minds that all glow a little differently. You're drawn to people who love late-night debates, inside jokes no one else gets, and building mental time machines to explore impossible futures. To be your friend is to be constantly surprised, sometimes challenged, but always expanded. Because when you love people, you don't just show them who you are, you show them who they could become. Career and business. If there's one place where February 11th born individuals were never meant to stay, it's a cubicle. You weren't built for punch clocks or PowerPoint presentations about quarterly reports. Your mind is too fast, too curious, too rebellious for anything remotely standard. You crave work that lets you innovate, question, disrupt, and build something no one has seen before. Whether it's a new app, a nonprofit, a screenplay, or an entire lifestyle movement, you want your work to mean something, to change the game, not just play it. You don't just excel at creativity, you demand it. You're the person in the brainstorm session who asks the question no one else saw coming, who dares to flip the problem upside down and attack it from an angle no one considered. While others think in steps, you think in systems. While others aim for efficiency, you aim for transformation. You get restless in repetitive environments. You need work that evolves with you, where your mind can stretch, sprint, and reinvent itself constantly. You thrive in careers that combine autonomy, originality, and impact. Think tech innovation, AI development, psychology, sociology, environmental activism, artistic creation, futuristic education, or even social entrepreneurship. You'd kill it as a futurist, UX designer, behavioral scientist, documentary filmmaker, or strategy consultant for companies trying to prepare for the next century. You could even end up on a podcast breaking down conspiracy theories through a scientific lens, just for fun. You are, above all else, multidimensional, and your career path reflects that. But while you shine with ideas, you sometimes struggle with structure. Deadlines can feel like cages. Bureaucracy makes your skin crawl. Authority, when misused, drains you. That's why the smartest move for your success is to build a trusted support system of collaborators who are grounded, pragmatic, and emotionally intelligent. You don't need more vision, you've got that in excess. You need people who translate your vision into actionable steps. With the right team, people who believe in your magic but also know how to balance the books, you're unstoppable. You don't just chase success. You redefine what it looks like. Numerology, the power of 11. To be born on the 11th day of the month is no small thing. It places you under the influence of one of numerology's most sacred and potent designations, the master number 11. Unlike standard numbers, master numbers carry a higher frequency, a deeper calling, and more profound responsibilities. In the numerological universe, 11 is the number of the visionary, the seer, and the light-bringer. It represents the spiritual bridge between the physical and the metaphysical, a human tuning fork vibrating between realms. If your birth date is February 11th, then you were born with this powerful energetic imprint embedded in your DNA. You don't just perceive the world, you feel beneath its surface. You walk into rooms and read energy the way others read facial expressions. You're a human antenna, intuitively sensing conflict, harmony, fear, or authenticity without anyone needing to speak. This deep inner knowing can make you appear psychic, or at the very least, uncannily insightful. People may seek your guidance without knowing why, only that they feel seen and safe in your presence. Your mind isn't just logical, it's wired for pattern recognition across emotional, spiritual, and energetic dimensions. The gifts of the 11 are powerful. You often carry charismatic leadership energy, though you may shy away from the spotlight unless it serves a cause greater than yourself. Your artistic potential is enormous. You could express your inner world through poetry, music, design, photography, or even innovative science. You're also a natural healer, not always in a clinical sense, but in the way your presence, words, or insights help people transform. You carry deep wisdom, often far beyond your years. Even as a child, you likely asked complex questions others couldn't answer, or weren't ready to. But this frequency comes at a cost. Master number 11 brings emotional extremes. You may feel euphoric one moment and overwhelmed the next. You live between worlds, part mystic, part mortal, and that space can be hard to navigate. You might experience anxiety, restlessness, or periods of intense self-doubt, especially when you're not aligned with your true path. Many 11s struggle in early adulthood, trying to suppress their deeper sensitivities to fit in. But make no mistake, your power lies in embracing those sensitivities, not hiding them. Your life is a lighthouse. You are here to illuminate, to guide, to create pathways for others to find their truth. But don't forget, in lighting the way for everyone else, you also need to tend to your own flame. Meditation, solitude, spiritual study, and time in nature can help you recharge and remain connected to the divine wisdom that lives inside you. You're not just a number, you're a frequency, and when you learn how to harness it, your life becomes a beacon of transformation. Druid Horoscope, the Cedar Tree. According to the Druid Tree Horoscope, those born between February 9th and February 18th are represented by the cedar tree, a symbol of resilience, quiet strength, and spiritual elevation. Just like the tree that reaches skyward while rooting deep into the earth, cedar-born individuals carry an energy that's both grounded and aspirational. You don't have to announce your presence, you naturally draw attention. Your confidence is not loud, it's calm and commanding, the kind that makes people listen when you speak without needing to raise your voice. Cedar people are known for a magnetic charisma that doesn't rely on surface charm or social tricks. There's something noble, even ancient, about the way you carry yourself. You move with purpose, you speak with weight, you're the one others turn to when they need clarity, not just about what to do, but who to become. You have a talent for spotting potential in people long before they see it in themselves. That's because your vision isn't limited to the now, you intuitively sense what lies beneath the surface and what can grow from it. This sign is also marked by a powerful inner pride. You don't compromise your values easily, and you stand firm in your beliefs, sometimes to a fault. Stubbornness can be your shadow trait, especially when you're emotionally invested. But at your best, this trait becomes noble conviction, a refusal to betray your integrity or pretend to be something you're not. You're loyal to your core, and when you care about someone, you'll defend them with a quiet fierceness that's both beautiful and formidable. The cedar tree also symbolizes balance between beauty and strength. You often have an elegant presence, whether in your physical appearance, the way you dress, or how you express yourself. There's a quiet sophistication to your personality, a sense of refinement that isn't forced but deeply embedded. You have high standards, not just for others, but for yourself. You want your life to reflect a deeper sense of purpose, a truth that resonates beyond material success or shallow approval. And when you lead, which you often do, formally or informally, you lead with grace, wisdom, and unwavering principle. Spiritually, the cedar tree speaks to your deeper calling, to help others ascend. Whether through teaching, mentoring, healing, or simply modeling integrity in a chaotic world, your energy lifts people up. But for you to truly thrive, you must also learn to release perfectionism, to let others see your vulnerabilities, and to forgive yourself for the moments when your bark cracks. You are strong, but your softness is where your greatest medicine lives. When you embrace both, you become not just a leader, but a legend in the lives of those lucky enough to know you. Flower horoscope, orchid. If your floral totem is the orchid, then you were never meant to bloom on command. Your beauty unfolds in silence, in mystery, in the in-between spaces where the impatient rarely linger. Orchids are delicate yet enduring, rare yet grounded, and always slightly removed from the ordinary. Like you, they require an intentional environment to thrive, sunlight, but not too harsh, attention, but not invasive. You don't reveal your essence to just anyone, and those who rush you will never get close enough to understand your power. But when you do open up, it's nothing short of breathtaking. You live with a depth that's often hidden behind your calm demeanor or self-contained elegance. People might initially mistake your quietude for shyness or distance, but those who stay long enough will find a soul layered with emotional richness, subtle humor, and quiet rebellion. You are not designed for the spotlight, yet you steal it without trying. Your presence carries a certain mystique, an aura that lingers. You're the kind of person others remember years after meeting, because there's something about you they can't quite name, but will never forget. Emotionally, you're a paradox. Sensitive but strong, guarded but yearning. You feel deeply, often more than you let on, which makes trust a slow process. You need emotional resonance, not noise. For you, vulnerability is sacred, it's not something you give away casually. And once you love, you do it with reverence, with intentionality, with a kind of loyalty that runs silent and deep. But if your heart is mishandled or dismissed, you withdraw completely, not out of spite, but as self-preservation. You bloom only where you're seen and safe. Creatively, you are often drawn to the strange, the beautiful, the unusual. Like the orchid itself, which thrives in ecosystems others might find uninhabitable, you flourish in environments that allow you to be exactly who you are, no filters, no facades. Whether it's in art, music, writing, or even your aesthetic presence, you radiate a kind of refinement that doesn't scream, it whispers. And it's in that whisper where your magic lives. You are not for everyone. But for those attuned to subtle frequencies, your energy is a once-in-a-lifetime bloom. Stone horoscope, amethyst. To be born under the influence of amethyst is to carry within you a built-in line to the divine, a crystalline signal that hums with protection, vision, and higher knowledge. This isn't just a pretty gemstone. Amethyst is the seer's stone, the sage's companion, the talisman for those who walk the line between logic and intuition. Its deep violet hue reflects your own nature, mysterious, spiritual, and rich with inner life. You are not just guided by thoughts, but by vibrations, dreams, symbols, and soul-level instincts that others may never understand but often benefit from. Wearing amethyst is like wearing armor made of starlight. It shields your energy from noise, drama, and psychic clutter, things you're more susceptible to than most. As someone deeply tuned into people and environments, you can easily become emotionally overwhelmed by negativity or chaos. This is where your birthstone becomes your spiritual buffer. It doesn't just protect, it clarifies. It sharpens your perception, aligns you with truth, and helps you cut through emotional fog with piercing clarity. It's a reminder that your sensitivity is not weakness, it's a form of intelligence. This stone also helps you stay grounded while exploring the cosmos of your own mind. With your Aquarian nature and master number 11 influence, you're no stranger to existential spirals or sudden epiphanies at 3 a.m. Amethyst helps you channel those visions constructively. It invites balance between inspiration and discipline, between mystical downloads and real-world execution. Meditating with it can quiet mental noise, restore emotional equilibrium, and reawaken your connection to your highest self, the version of you that sees beyond limitation. There will be days when your energy feels too much, too intense, too complex, too sensitive for a world that often rewards simplicity over depth. In those moments, amethyst becomes your sacred mirror. It reflects your divine worth back to you, not because you need fixing, but because you sometimes forget how whole you already are. Keep it close when you're creating, when you're healing, when you're doubting. Let it remind you that you weren't made to blend in. You were made to see what others can't, and to bring that vision back, in your own beautifully unconventional way. Vedic Astrology, Shatabhisha Nakshatra Kumbha Rashi. In the ancient system of Vedic astrology, your birth isn't just a date, it's a cosmic imprint, a spiritual map etched into your being. For those born on February 11th, this means entering the world under the influence of Kumbha Rashi, the Vedic counterpart to Aquarius, and more specifically, within the enigmatic and spiritually charged realm of Shatabhisha Nakshatra. Unlike Western astrology, which looks primarily at the position of the sun, Vedic astrology tracks the moon, our emotional compass, and places great importance on nakshatras, or lunar constellations. These are not just zodiac signs, they are soul blueprints. Shatabhisha, which translates to the 100 healers, is a nakshatra ruled by Rahu, the shadow planet representing karmic lessons, illusion, and spiritual evolution through disruption. This is not a nakshatra for the faint of heart. It births mystics, rebels, code breakers, and truth seekers, souls who walk the tightrope between genius and madness, between the seen and unseen. If you're born under this star, you're often pulled between polarities, the rational and the spiritual, the outsider and the visionary, the detached observer and the hidden healer. This placement often calls you toward the unconventional paths of healing and awareness. You're drawn to mental health, holistic medicine, metaphysics, astrology, and quantum science, not because they're trendy, but because they offer answers where conventional systems fail. You have a thirst for understanding human suffering, not as a problem to fix with pills, but as a doorway into transformation. You may gravitate toward psychology, energy work, social reform, or digital technology, but always with a twist. You want to connect the spiritual with the systemic. Your mind isn't linear, it's cosmic. You see the whole board while others are still stuck on the first move. Because of Rahu's shadow influence, your path isn't always smooth. You're likely to face internal conflict between the desire to be seen and the urge to remain invisible. This can manifest as imposter syndrome, oscillating self-worth, or periods of radical reinvention. In your 30s and 40s, expect deep karmic cycles to unfold, experiences that break your identity only to rebuild it from a more truthful, aligned core. You might go from tech consultant to intuitive healer, from corporate manager to social visionary. These aren't random shifts, they're sacred evolutions. You're not here for stability. You're here for soul expansion. Navigating this intensity requires tools. Meditation, breathwork, grounding practices, and connection with your higher self are essential. They keep you from getting swept up in Rahu's illusions and bring clarity to your gifts. When you stay anchored, your intuition sharpens, your insights deepen, and your energy becomes transformational. You're not just someone with a weird vibe, you're a spiritual architect. A decoder of systems, a healer cloaked in digital skin. Trust that your strangeness is divine, and your path, though nonlinear, is exactly where your soul intended to go. Life purpose, soul mission. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Being born on February 11th is not an accident. It's a spiritual choice, a deliberate entry point into the world with a very specific vibrational frequency. You came here hardwired with a paradoxical blend of intellectual brilliance, emotional independence, and soul-level compassion for the world's growing pains. You don't just want to succeed. You want to shift consciousness, redesign structures, and elevate humanity, even if you have to do it from the edges of society. Your life purpose begins with one core truth: you are here to awaken minds. You are not a comfort zone thinker. You're the person who asks the uncomfortable questions at family dinners, who rewrites the manual in the middle of the project, who challenges institutions simply by refusing to conform. Whether through teaching, writing, public speaking, art, science, or leadership, you hold a mirror up to the collective and say, "Look again." You see patterns others ignore, and you call out blind spots others are too afraid to name. You don't burn bridges for fun, you burn them to light the way forward. Another central mission? Balancing freedom and intimacy. This is a lifelong dance for you. You love deeply, but you love differently. You want closeness, but you also crave solitude. You need to feel connected, but never confined. Learning to navigate that tension, how to love without losing yourself, how to stay while still expanding, is one of your greatest soul lessons. Relationships that allow for growth, curiosity, and shared evolution will become your sanctuary. But those that try to box you in? You'll outgrow them quickly. Your role as a healer of systems is also unmistakable. With the combined influence of your master number 11 and Shatabhisha Nakshatra, you're not here to play nice with broken frameworks. You're here to dismantle, rebuild, and reimagine. Whether you're fixing a flawed justice system, rethinking education, healing family trauma, or developing conscious technology, your work is revolutionary by nature. You're not trying to slap a band-aid on a festering wound. You want to expose it, understand its root, and teach others how to heal it from within. And perhaps your most personal mission, embracing your inner outcast. You've likely felt different for most of your life, too intense, too weird, too sensitive, too something. But that's not your curse. It's your calling. Your otherness is your superpower. The parts of you that didn't fit into childhood, school, family, or even early adulthood were never meant to. They were meant to break molds, not fit into them. The sooner you honor your uniqueness and stop apologizing for being multidimensional, the faster you'll step into your full potential. Because your path isn't about fitting in, it's about leading others out. Final reflections. Embrace the paradox. So, what does it really mean to be born on February 11th? It means you came into this world encoded with contrast and contradiction, a living paradox designed not to confuse, but to illuminate. You are not one thing. You are many things at once, and trying to reduce you to a single category is like trying to bottle the sky. You are both lightning strike and deep ocean, a soul who dances between extremes with a quiet knowing that somehow, both can be true. You feel deeply, sometimes overwhelmingly, but rarely show it on the surface. Your emotional world is vast, yet concealed beneath a cool exterior that confuses even those closest to you. You crave connection, intimacy, and soul recognition, yet fiercely protect your independence, your solitude, your ability to breathe on your own. You are a social spirit with a monk's heart. A communicator who often prefers silence. A seeker who is just as comfortable in the stars as you are alone with your thoughts. Your mind is a fortress of logic and analysis, but your intuition is even sharper. You sense things before they're spoken. You read between the lines without even trying. You're the one who sees the real story behind someone's smile. The one who notices the energy in a room shift before a single word is said. People may call you psychic, empathic, sensitive. All are true, but none fully capture the depth of your knowing, that sacred intelligence that lives beneath language, where truth isn't spoken but simply felt. You are, in every way, a rebel, but not the loud, chaotic kind. Your revolution is quieter, subtler, and often more effective. You rebel by refusing to follow outdated rules, by choosing originality over acceptance, by crafting a life so authentic that it dares others to stop performing and start living. Yet, for all your boundary pushing, you long for peace. For stillness. For inner calm. You want to be free, yes, but you also want to be home. And that dual desire will shape your life in the most unexpected, exquisite ways. Yours is not a straight path, and it was never meant to be. Your journey will unfold in spirals, leaps, and reinventions. You'll walk away from entire chapters that no longer reflect who you've become. You'll burn down safe careers, outgrow friendships, leave comfort zones that once felt like home. You'll die and be reborn 100 times in this one lifetime, each time shedding a version of yourself that was too small to contain your next evolution. And though it may be disorienting, each shift will bring you closer to your essence. People might misunderstand you, and they will. They'll call you unpredictable, complex, distant, intense. Let them. You are not here to be decoded. You are here to be experienced. And those who are meant to walk with you won't ask you to simplify. They'll marvel at your depths, meet you in the mystery, and grow just by being near your frequency. The truth is, you are a soul built for transcendence. You're not just here to live an ordinary life. You're here to illuminate, to light up paths others didn't even know existed. Whether through your art, your voice, your presence, or your quiet acts of healing, you change the energy of every room you enter. You challenge, you inspire, you wake people up. And the best part? Your story only gets better with time. Because each year, each layer, each spiritual shedding brings you closer to the fire at the center of your being. A fire that doesn't just warm, it guides. A fire that isn't afraid to stand alone in the dark, knowing it was born to shine. So if you're a February 11th soul, own it. Own the paradox. Own the mess. Own the brilliance. Own the fact that you're a once-in-a-generation energy, moving through a world that's still catching up to what you already know. And if this spoke to something deep inside you, if it felt like remembering something you never knew you forgot, share it. Send it to another February 11th soul, or to anyone who's ever tried to understand the wild, mystical beauty of Aquarius energy. And if you're ready for more soul-deep astrology, cosmic storytelling, and zodiac psychology that speaks your language, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore our other videos. You weren't born to follow the stars. You were born to be one.